What is up, guys? This is Richard with kingslayercards, and we have Andrew today talking about his favorite deck, Luard.
Yep, this is my favorite deck. It's a Crest Luard list, and I think it's the most consistent way to play Luard. The deck can still function even if you miss the Crest. Hyper defensive, honestly, is probably the most fun I have playing Luard, and it's probably the most versatile way to play it. So I tend to always fall back to playing this. So I guess we'll go through the list, and then I can explain card choices and stuff. So obviously your V starter, there's really no other option here. Besides that, I float Viceroy. Shadows in general doesn't have good resource management, and being a 5k target for Nemain that's searchable without having to burn your CB to give you counter charge and soul charge is kind of a no-brainer, and it's pretty recurable, so that is almost always an auto in to every Luard deck. Triggers are pretty self-explanatory too. Purple OT is busted. Getting an extra battle under Morfessa, free heal, is kind of no reason not to play it. Space-wise, I feel that 4 slot up with the on-hit crit draws. Shield value is good. In hyper defensive, we play 4 Belial Owl because you're constantly recurring stuff like Esdras and burning these with Ildanas and your on-strides to net your hand right back after each turn of burning it. And then 4 Cursed Raven. The amount of cycling you get out of Luard is crazy. First stride, you're going to be burning through probably over half your deck, and being able to thin out and recur your crits and guarantee good drives come your Morfessa turn is huge. And hitting a stand on a Morfessa turn is an auto win. And then 4 heal. Grade 3 heals, obviously, because we don't have enough guard before turn 3. Then we'll go to our grade 1s. So we know it's Crest Luard. Whoops. Crest Luard, have to play 4 Crest. Kind of non-negotiable. The payoff you get for hitting it is crazy. My best advice with the deck is to aggressively mull for this, because we're playing later in the list ways to counteract the low grade 2 and low grade 3 count. So hard mulliganing to try to get this, and honestly going first so that you have the opportunity to G-assist, fail it, search with the grade 2s, and then honestly pass turn on 1 at 0 if you don't see it and need an extra opportunity. Nemain will pick up most of your deck, gets your ritual count high. We're playing the Blaster Dark Dump Hood combo because we're only playing, I think, 7 grade 2s. So Nemain is essentially going to guarantee your grade 2 ride on turn 1. And it gets you that Viceroy. And with our next card, honestly, I can't even pronounce this chick's name, but the new grade 1 promo, that's the G-Guard, is a 5k that can lift your grade 1s off the board, which means if you have one of these in hand active, ready to use, and you pull a second one out in the man, you can burn the one to bounce the second. So you can burn this for its ability to then guarantee a second G-Guard, which is kind of crazy. So 3 of those. I think 4 could be playable, but I felt it was a little cloggy. Then we'll go on to our tech. We're playing 2 Honolly. When the format changes, Honolly, could go down to 1. You might not need it, but with the way the game is right now, Honolly auto wins too many matchups to not play it. And then we'll play 1 Charon. So as I said earlier with the Viceroy, the biggest issue with Viceroy as your solo countercharger is that it gets stuck in your soul, because we don't have any Soul Blast in the main deck other than Charon. So unless we're going into a stride that Soul Blast, this gets stuck a lot. And being able to recur this and use this every turn, you never have to worry about resource. And then for hyper defensive package, you have to play 4 Ezra's. Because you're going to be burning your Viceroy off this, you'll be searching these off your Dragobis, you'll be popping your Belials to draw cards, you can rip these off of your Cursed Eye Ravens, you will never not have 2 PGs in your hand every turn. It's very strong. And then we'll go to our grade 2s. So again, consistency wise for hyper defensive Luard, and especially Crest, you have to play the ride fixers. 4 of these, you would play them regardless, but 4 is guaranteed in your deck at all times for this list. 1, you need the Crest generator, but 2, this is your attack extender. We don't really have space in this list for Dogda. As much as I used to love that card, it just doesn't make the cut anymore. But she on boost will call out a grade 1. So early game, it can be used to pull out a Charon for a free CB, an extra body, an 11k attacker. It can be pulled out for Eldana if you're behind and you need to draw extra cards on turn 2. And then late game, when you're sitting on a plus 50k front row with Morfessa, 4 battles, and then the chance it stands is a guaranteed win. And then the rest of our grade 1s are all 1-ofs. We have Blaster Dark and Dumphoot combo. That's why we need the 4 in a main, because this, with how low our grade 2 lineup is, we need to have a way to guarantee the ride. And we don't want to have to worry about G-assisting when we're already hard mulliganing for our grade 1. So if you see in the main, or with our grade 3 lineup coming up, if you see an Eldana, and you can rip in the main off that, you still guarantee. So you have essentially 8 targets on top of your grade 2s that are at 7 that can guarantee your grade 2 lineup. And then we play 1 Dive Eagle. Very matchup dependent. This is your big flex spot if you wanted to play a Maple. That is an option. It depends on what your format is at your locals. If you're playing against a lot of like go wide decks, this is better. If you're playing against a lot of decks that are control heavy and want to wipe your board, Maple's better, so you guarantee your on strides. Then our grade 3s, the 3 Eldana. So these, again, on turn 1, you can pitch them, search your top 10, grab any grade 2 or greater. Grade 2 or greater. So you can search your grade 2 ride fixers, you can search your Blaster Darks, and then especially because we only play 4 real ride targets, we have to have some kind of consistency with these weird awkward numbers. On paper, it doesn't look like it works. I almost never G-assist. And if I'm G-assisting, I'm G-assisting for the grade 1 to try to guarantee the Crest. The reason we play OG Dragheart Luard, 1, putting 2 cards back every turn is super important when you're playing so many 1-ofs in the list. So being able to put back stuff like Charon, your Viceroy. You can recycle your G-Guardian grade 1s. Those going back is super strong. The other thing with Dragheart is being able to go +2 off of your on stride. You're killing 1, you're almost exclusively calling double Belial that you're then gonna pop for your Morfessas, you're gonna pop for your Crowd Crotch, you're gonna pop for your PGs. Your Vanguard is essentially saying, I'm gonna go +3, which is crazy. And then I guess we'll move to the G-Zone. So the G-Zone, again, ratios are kind of to your liking here. Obviously, everyone has to play a Harmonics Messiah in this format. You don't really have an option there. So that's 1 slot out of the way. Your biggest closer for most games is going to be Morfessa. 15k and a crit to the front row is too strong when you're already gaining +30+ off your Crest power. So like these numbers are pretty unblockable. You're forcing 2 or more out of your hand for PGs. It's been Shadow's best closer for forever. The other big tech slot, I'm playing 3 Crowd Crouch. Now this could be 2. I know people that play 2. I like 3 because with Luard, your worst matchups are the decks that are wiping your board or that want to lock up your board. So stuff like Link Joker, Narukami. If you're able to finish your turn on an empty board and not have to deal with that interaction, you're in a much better place. So being able to pop 4 and go for a restanding Vanguard is super strong. And then for hyper defensive Luard, the biggest thing that people don't play is 4 Dragibus. This is something that if you're not in a position to close a game and you don't feel like you need the extra restand or have the cards to commit to a Crowd Crouch, or if your opponent's playing around it with a full board, Dragibus is never bad. You're gonna tutor 2 cards off your on-stride, and then this will tutor 2 more cards. Yeah, this will get you your double Honolys whenever you need them. It'll get 2 PGs into your hand whenever you need them. And it just scales your G zone for the Crest power. That's your usual go-to stride. And then the rest of the G zone is all G guards. I'm playing 1 Bronak to set up Ritual. 1 Dark Veil is a Soul Blast target if you need to get the Viceroy out of Soul. And it's a big G guard, but usually it's flip fodder. 2 Dark Griever, Deep Griever Dragon. This is a PG. It puts your great ones back to deck if you're running low. And then the tech in the G guard slot is double Gelato. Because we're playing 7 ways to G guard and we're playing Crest, being able to turbo, say you have 3 G guard targets, if you G guard and then double Gelato, you're going into first stride with 5 face up, and then you're flipped from your stride. So if you need to play an aggressive game, and your first stride is gonna be Morfessa, burning triple G guard and getting plus 30 to your front row, then plus the 15 for Morfessa is too strong, and a lot of people don't expect that much power first stride. But besides that, playing slow, learning the lines, I think that's the best way to play the deck. And that's the list.
All right. Well, thank you for showing us your new Crest build.
Thank you.
It's important to remember, like, you can't run the V1 with the Crest, but they didn't touch that one.
Yeah, exactly. So somehow I dodged the ban list because they didn't give me superior stride.
All right. Well, thank you. Like, comment, subscribe, and we'll see you in the next one.